Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join me as we explore Southwest's lost historical characters, stunning desert vistas, forgotten Native American history, or tales of lost gold mines. There's always something new to discover. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to Southwest Desert, where we explore the fascinating characters who shaped the American Southwest. Today, we're diving into the remarkable story of John Clum, a man whose life intersected with one of the most famous gunfights in Western history, the shootout at the OK Corral. But before we get to those fateful moments in Tombstone, we need to understand the extraordinary journey that brought him there. It's 1877, and a young man of just 25 years has already accomplished what many couldn't achieve in a lifetime. John Clum's 3-year tenure as Indian agent at San Carlos was marked by unprecedented success. He didn't just manage the reservation, he transformed it. Under his supervision, extensive agricultural programs flourished and building projects expanded. But his most remarkable achievement was implementing something revolutionary: successful Apache self-government. Clum's approach was decades ahead of its time. He organized an efficient Apache police force that proved so effective they managed to capture Geronimo himself, a feat that would become legendary. But this success came at a price. The U.S. Army, accustomed to having complete control over Native American affairs, didn't take kindly to Clum's civilian authority. The conflicts were constant and wearing. Clum repeatedly warned his superiors about Army interference, but his protests fell on deaf ears. By July 1, 1877, the frustrated 25-year-old had reached his breaking point and resigned, leaving the reservation permanently. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest adventure. If you would like to help support my time and channel, hit the Super Thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Relax and enjoy. But Clum was far from finished. During his spare time at the agency, he'd been studying law, and now he sought opportunities among his lawyer friends. Fortune smiled when Judge H.B. Summers of Florence, an outstanding member of the Arizona bar, offered him a partnership. By November 16, 1877, less than 5 months after leaving San Carlos, Clum was admitted to practice law. Yet the quiet life of a small-town lawyer wasn't enough to satisfy his adventurous spirit. Finding that law business didn't consume all his time, Clum set his sights on journalism. He approached Florence businessmen with a bold proposal: establishing the town's first newspaper. After securing oral agreements with 4 or 5 local entrepreneurs, he purchased the Arizona Citizen from Tucson and moved the entire operation to Florence. But frontier partnerships were often fragile things. Disagreements soon erupted, and Clum found himself the sole proprietor of the newspaper. It was a demanding position that forced him to suspend his law practice to protect his investment. He threw himself entirely into publishing the first newspaper in Pinal County, only to realize that Florence's location wasn't profitable enough to sustain the venture. By the summer of 1878, Clum had moved back to Tucson, a frontier town of about 5,000 people. The population was largely Mexican, and the community remained isolated, but change was coming. The Southern Pacific Railroad was pushing eastward from Yuma, promising to connect this remote outpost with the rest of the nation. Clum didn't just witness Tucson's transformation, he helped shape it. In February 1879, he established the daily Arizona Citizen, the first daily newspaper in the Arizona Territory. His timing couldn't have been better, coinciding with the Southern Pacific's arrival. But Clum's contributions to Tucson went far beyond journalism. In late 1879, alongside Wheeler W. Williams and Mariano Samaniego, Clum served as road commissioner. Together, they undertook an ambitious project, building the first highway constructed by civilians in Arizona. The road connected Tucson to Old Camp Grant and extended to the Globe Mining District. Completed by mid-December 1879, it included a treacherous section through precipitous mountain country that Clum described as dangerous but passable. His innovations didn't stop there. In a town of adobe buildings, Clum built the first shingle roof on any Tucson residence. As an elder in the Presbyterian Church, he helped establish the first Protestant church in southern Arizona. He even brought culture to the frontier, helping to import the first West Coast professional opera troupe in November 1879, a night he called a red-letter night in social development of Tucson. Nature provided its own entertainment, too. On January 29, 1880, during a freak 8-inch snowfall, Clum participated in what would be recorded as Tucson's only sleigh ride, a moment of winter whimsy in the desert Southwest. But beneath these achievements, financial troubles were brewing. Struggling to pay off his citizen investment, Clum's personal finances were dwindling. When he lost the city printing contract to the Star for 1880, he attempted to return to Indian affairs, applying to the Dutch Reformed Church for an agent position at either San Carlos or the Pima and Maricopa Reservation. The Interior Department rejected his nomination, forcing him to rent out rooms in his Tucson house. It was time for a change, and that change would be Tombstone. After visiting the booming silver town in December and February to assess its potential, Clum sold his interest in the Citizen to Rollin C. Brown on February 2, 1880. By late March, he was Tombstone-bound, though his family remained temporarily in Tucson. Clum didn't arrive empty-handed. He'd telegraphed San Francisco for everything needed to start a newspaper, a Washington hand press, type and type cases, ink and printing paper. After the equipment arrived in Tucson by rail, it was transported to Tombstone by wagon freight. At the northwest corner of Fremont and 4th Streets, Clum built a 20x 40-foot skeleton frame covered with heavy canvas roof and walls, the humble beginnings of the Tombstone Epitaph. On May 1, 1880, the first issue of the Epitaph hit the streets. Despite local legends, Clum himself chose the paper's name, and by July, it had become a daily publication. His initial declaration boldly compared Tombstone to ancient Rome, a comparison that seemed less outlandish during the town's silver-fueled boom years. Clum quickly became a central figure in Tombstone's civic life. As postmaster, he succeeded Richard K. Gerd, managing an office that processed an astounding volume of mail, 3,712 letters in just the first week of December 1880. Despite being a fourth-class office with a $1,000 annual salary, Clum had to cover his own clerk hire, rent, fuel, lights, and improvements. The business volume was so high that money order blanks were used up in 3 weeks instead of 6 months, and quarterly stamp supplies proved insufficient. When he entered the mayoral race after Republican Robert Eccleston withdrew, Clum ran on the Citizens' Protective ticket, focusing on law and order and opposition to the Townsite Company. With strong support from miners but opposition from gambling and saloon elements, he won by a 367-vote margin over Mark P. Schaffer, out of 688 total votes cast. As mayor, Clum found himself embroiled in several major controversies. The town-site dispute erupted in 1880 when former Governor A.P.K. Safford, James S. Clark, and J.H. Palmer attempted to convey 2,300 of 2,385 town lots. Through the Epitaph, Clum vigorously opposed this attempt, arguing it would oust citizens from their homes and cost the city treasury approximately $200,000. He also locked horns with Governor Fremont throughout 1881, criticizing his favoritism and absenteeism and opposing both the Lottery Act and the Borough Railroad Bill. Clum would later claim credit for forcing Fremont's resignation. But these political battles were merely preludes to the violence that would soon engulf Tombstone. After Marshal Fred White was killed on October 27, 1880, the succession of law enforcement officials became a crucial issue. Virgil Earp served as marshal, followed by Ben Sippy, who later resigned. Clum's decision to reappoint Virgil Earp would have far-reaching consequences. Through the Epitaph, Clum consistently supported the Earp brothers while criticizing Sheriff Johnny Behan, who was often seen as sympathetic to the cowboy faction. This editorial stance helped deepen the divide between the two groups and contributed to the growing tensions in Tombstone. Then came October 26, 1881, the day of the infamous OK Corral shootout. Right in front of the Epitaph office, 3 men lost their lives: Frank and Tom McLaury and McLaury-Clanton. Virgil and Morgan Earp, along with Doc Holliday, were wounded. Wyatt Earp emerged unscathed, while Billy Claiborne and Ike Clanton fled the scene. The violence didn't end there. A death list circulated through town, and on December 14, 1881, would-be assassins attempted to take Clum's life. 2 weeks later, Virgil Earp was ambushed and seriously wounded. The cycle of violence reached its peak with Morgan Earp's murder on March 18, 1882, followed by Wyatt Earp's revenge killing of Frank Stillwell 2 days later. Amidst this turmoil, Clum faced personal tragedy. His wife Mary died on December 17, 1880, shortly after giving birth to their daughter Elizabeth, who also passed away within a week. Their son Woodworth was sent to live with grandparents in Washington, D.C. It wasn't until February 24, 1883, that Clum found happiness again, marrying Belle Atwood, with whom he would have a daughter named Caro. In 1885, Clum returned to Tombstone with his new family. He was reappointed as postmaster in February 1885 and became city clerk, auditor, and recorder in October. He even returned to the Epitaph as city editor in the latter half of 1886 and participated in amateur theatricals and variety shows. But Tombstone's glory days were numbered. The Grand Central Pump House fire on May 12, 1886, dealt a devastating blow to the town's mining industry. By late 1886, Clum, like many others, left Tombstone behind, moving to San Bernardino, California. John Clum's story represents more than just a footnote to the famous gunfight at the OK Corral. It's a testament to the complexity of frontier life, where one man could be an Indian agent, lawyer, newspaper publisher, postmaster, and mayor, all while witnessing and participating in some of the most dramatic moments of the American West. His support of the Earps through the Epitaph helped shape the narrative of one of the most famous conflicts in Western history, while his various roles in Tombstone's civic life helped build the infrastructure of a frontier boomtown. In many ways, John Clum embodied the spirit of the American frontier, adaptable, resilient, and always ready for the next challenge. This has been Southwest Desert. Join us next time as we explore more fascinating stories from the American Southwest. Please check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.